It worked. Fuck yeah. It's 10:28 right now, p.m. and I'm a little bit nervous to be doing this, but I think it's important to get the fuck out of my comfort zone and do it anyway. It's just such an important yet simple concept, but here it is in motion. So what I want to be doing today, by the way, I apologize for audio quality. I don't have a mic right now, but I think this time next week I should have an okay mic, which is better than currently what is the setup, because I'm like talking all the way to the iPhone mic. So anyways, what I want to do is basically, let me just go to the start here. Every weekend, or rather every Sunday, I take the time, around an hour and a half is what it ends up usually being, where I just go into Google Drive, and I fill out a bunch of questions and categories based on the week. And the reason for doing this is because on Sundays it's almost like a reflection day for me. It's a day where, or rather this period of time is a time where I am focused on what I did for the last week and really making sure I get the proper takeaways and document everything as best as possible for that week, and glean as many lessons as possible, among other things that I'm forgetting right now. But overall, it's just super important to me to be able to like end a week in a way where I'm not forgetting everything I've done. It's a recognition thing as well. I'm taking the time to recognize for myself for what I've done, and that is totally in my control. So I do that instead of relying on others to do it for me. I cover lessons. I gather as many takeaways as possible so I can make next week better. That's basically the goal, is like, let's document everything we did last week. Let's make next week better. Let's take as many lessons from last week, so again, we can make things better this week or this upcoming week. And it's ultimately just about like the Kaizen lifestyle, just getting a little bit better every day, or in this case, every week, because that adds up over time. It's very simple, but it's very, very important. So anyways, basically I do this in my Google Doc. Can't say Google apparently. Google. There we go. So I do this in my Google Doc, and I've been doing this for 11 months now, every Sunday, though I did miss one because of time complications, so that got pushed to a Monday. That's a side note though. So what I want to do though is like, I want to cover the highlights on video, and because I think that would be worthwhile for people to be able to see where the fuck I'm at in my journey in a different aspect. Like I will do the thoughts here and there still, but if this is and I say thoughts meaning these like random sound bites of like check-ins during the week almost. But this weekly thing is just, it's got a different energy to it. It's very calm, passive in a good way. It's very observing and not like trying to correct things. It's quite interesting. This is going to be explained much easier once I start getting into it. So anyways, I have these sections, so let me just start. I'm just gonna jump in, but basically I want to cover the highlights of my week. So, because I think it'd be interesting to look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. If he did something like this, that would be just like phenomenal to watch a 19-year-old Zuck, because he created Facebook at 19, and that would be so interesting to watch him every Sunday sit down and like kind of just reflect on his week. Take a few minutes or whatever to reflect on his week. Also, I have no idea how long this is going to go. I'm just going to be experimenting with it. I don't know if this is going to be any good either. We'll find out soon. But basically, I'm going to be reading off or looking through my Google Doc. So bear with me. I'm not sure the best execution for this. So I'm just going to start and we'll get better as weeks go on. But you can probably expect that this is going to be a weekly thing because I have it tied to the Sunday thing already. So it's pretty easy as long as I can make the time. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do it every week, but the odds are it's probably going to happen. So anyways, let's jump into it. So actually, let me get another document up. 1 second. Okay, so all right, so let's start with the wins. Actually, I have this strange feeling we should start with what's on my mind recently. So let's do that. I've been thinking a lot about the podcast and content. That's been like a very consistent thing in my mind right now. It's like a little bit strange because I'm like, I want to create as much as possible, but I also don't want to bombard people. But then when I don't bombard people, I fall into this like almost lazy trap pattern thing that I have for some reason. So yeah, podcast though, I definitely want to. It's just been like in the back of my mind all the time, like how can I create content? And I've been thinking about that all summer. Now finally just having some unconscious unlocks happening. They are unconscious, but it's happening for a reason. Not going to expand more on that right now, but it's something that's very just like at the forefront of my mind right now, which is like, how can I turn everything basically into content? It's a very like valuable thing in a 2017 world to be able to create content that is bringing people some sort of value, like whether it's entertainment, education. I find that like mine will balance between those two kind of because, well, it's tough because I'm also like, I'm documenting as I go. So I'm not just going to like sit here and try to be like a life coach or whatever because I do not have it all figured out. I have some things figured out, but vast majority of stuff I have a long way to go on. And that's awesome because I have so much room for growth there. But so it'll be like I think a combination of entertainment, watching me go through my stuff, watching the rise. That's pretty entertaining, or that's pretty in the entertainment category. I think it's very entertaining. I mean, some fucking boring people might not think it is, but in terms of, so education as well, I think if you're able to discern, I think that there's tons of gold throughout this. And I've also been thinking a lot about like joshmoxey.com. It really frustrates me that it's not live yet. There's some things moving forward with that though, taking it one day at a time. I'm feeling very attached to the design, I'm not gonna lie, which whenever I'm attached to a design, it ends up manifesting in a way where it's like everything moves slower because I care more. So I'm really working on trying to detach myself and just go in a way where I just move forward. Let me just hold up. Yeah, it's like a way where kind of like why I spend so much time just sitting in Google Docs and just like brainstorming ideas with joshmoxey.com. I'm like trying to solve things while it's like this strange balance of trying to solve things, but also like not trying to care too much, trying to make everything great, but not being too attached to if it's great, and just I think what I'm trying to say here is trying to move forward without being attached, like being as carefree as possible, while also, like, there's a balancing act there, and like the magic is in some sort of place in the middle, working on finding out where the fuck that is. What else is on my mind? Consistent thoughts. That's, by the way, this is what I'm reading right now. Consistent thoughts. Just like 3 key things that keep popping up. Key challenges and insights with infinity. No one, and also what can I build that's super valuable. So basically no one knows what infinity is. I barely even know what infinity is right now. It's, but it is what, so like internalize. I'm like pivoting this in a weird way where it's like, I'm taking, it's like a why. There's a word for this. I'm totally blanking on it. A fork in the road, basically. So internalize has become something called lists, which is taking like the list aspect of things, and then it's also becoming, so it's dialing down on internalize's 2 best strengths, which were lists and compilations, and like collective of, or a collection of XYZ, whatever. And then secondly is wisdom. So those are the 2 best things I did. So I'm taking 2 different routes. List is going to be like a side application just for, it's like Pinterest meets Trello. That's kind of like the easy metaphor to describe it. I'll explain this much more in another time, but that's just like an easy passing explanation. But, and then there's infinity, which I'm really taking the time to reverse engineer everything, get very clear on what the fuck I want to do. Yeah, it's just something that's it's very important to me, so I'm focusing a lot on that. I'm just realizing right now how much fucking time I'm spending on such a simple section. There's 3 things here, so I'm gonna move on. But that's basically what's been on my mind a lot this week. So awesome, or some awesome things about this week, and slash wins. Okay. SVG icons. This is like, I'm sounding so nerdy already. I got to use inline SVG for the first time, which is when you see icons on your iPhone, like on an app or whatever, or on the browser. There's many different formats it can take. It can take like PNG, JPEG, any of those type of things. But SVG is interesting because the more you scale in, it stays the same because it's vector based. Scalable vector graphic, I think is what SVG actually stands for. So this is cool though, because I've never actually taken the time to understand and learn SVG. So it was cool to use this, and then now my icons are absolutely shit. So that's nice, because it was like blurring before, and I was like, this looks so shitty, and I wanted to improve it badly. And now I'm doing that. I'm using ICO moon.com. Let me just make sure I'm plugging that right. ICO moon.io. Super helpful. Thank God for that site, seriously. So yeah, that's something I've really enjoyed. Lots of lots of micro content, like really working in After Effects right now to create these templates for things you're going to be seeing on Instagram, and that's going to be like clips like this. It's going to be audio clips, it's going to be video clips, it's going to be, you'll see some Josh Moxey radio templates, or clips rather. Previews is the word I'm looking for in that aspect. Other things like that. I'm doing it all in After Effects, and I've really enjoyed taking, because I used to spend so much time in After Effects back in like 2011 to 2012, 13-ish type of thing. So I really have enjoyed getting back into that thing, the flow of After Effects and using video editing as a tool. It's just really cool to be able to like watch, and a skill I haven't used in very, very long come and just naturally flow in again because of how much time I spent, how much time I spent back in the day getting good on that. So it's pretty cool. And I'm just really enjoying using it in a purposeful aspect instead of just like for video game shit. Though, like, whatever. It did serve its purpose and I had a lot of fun doing it, but business and stuff like this is a lot more fun for me. So, what else? I got a haircut. Thank God. Big shout out to Ramona. I'm happy to have shaved sides again because I got super lazy. Didn't get a haircut for like 2 months or something. It was very long, to say the least. Oh yeah, so like stepping more into that After Effects thing. Excuse me. Josh Moxey Radio Preview. So like Josh Moxey Radio is almost a collection of the songs that I am listening to, that I'm liking, songs I think other people should know about, whether this is throwback songs or new songs or what have you. It's just valuable songs that I really like. And Josh Moxey Radio is like, it's a collection of all those things on whatever platform you use. So like SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, what have you. But creating that like micro content for that, and I was creating the template for what you'll see on Instagram and Facebook and whatever you're going to be following me on, is this like really fun preview of it's hard to explain unless you've seen it, but but I basically finished the template this week and it looks fucking beautiful. And it's just really fun to like make art with video editing and all that jazz. I just get such a mental high off of creating such beautiful things, whether they're pixelated, I mean like whether it's pixel based, meaning digital, or whether it's like code. There's just so many ways, and I love so much just creating art in everyday life. It just gives me such a high to make the world just a little bit beautiful, or a little bit more beautiful than it was without. I've also enjoyed, some other things is like recording video clips of the podcast, and in addition to the audio clips. So like this is a little bit strange for me getting on video again. I haven't done this in a while. I must say though, I'm much more comfortable than I have been in the past, which is super nice, and I'm just very grateful for that, for one. But it's cool to be able to get my video aspect of things in addition to the audio. So like this is going to be recorded in video, and if you're listening to this on audio, there is a video version, but it's cool to be able to pull both aspects of it, because I'm basically doing this for micro content, but it ended up the push was for micro content because I was like, okay, what's Gary doing? There's a reason he's not doing just voice clips and he's doing video as well. So I decided to hop on that bandwagon because there's a reason he does everything. And there's these guys at the top, they're not just doing things by accident. So you can either take the time to understand everything, or you can just fast follow in a positive way. And I don't have the time or energy or care, for that matter, right now to be able to spend the time and mental energy to just try to reverse engineer everything he's doing. I'd just rather do it and test it and experiment with it. And I'll find out if it's working or if it's not, and then you move in from there because you have another data point. So anyways, I'm enjoying recording video clips because it's adding another element. It's going to make the micro content on my Instagram and my Facebook that much better, because you'll be able to see my face and everything like that, my non-verbals, my beautiful smile, things like that. What else can I say? There's a lot of things. I'm feeling like this is going by way faster than I expected. So anyways, it was a good week. I spent a lot of time on content. Lots of infinity discovery stuff, meaning spending time on, like I'm experimenting with potential infinity layouts and solutions and all that jazz, and just took a lot of time to reverse engineer a lot of things with infinity. I'm being so general right now on purpose. I'm not ready to really talk about everything yet, but it's all documented, which is nice. I just realized I didn't fully do like what could have made this week better, things to do next week. So we might do some of this in real time. Fuck it. Let's do some of this. So what could have made this week better and things to do next week? One thing that's worth note of there right now is uploading what I currently have online to, that was not right. Uploading what I currently have for lists online after making a potential few tweaks. So I've just been like really slacking on uploading lists, even as an MVP to like list.internalize or list.infinity. Holy shit. list.infinity.co. So I've just been so stalling on that for some odd reason. So doing that I think would just make this week so much better. What else? Let me just take a step back, and this is strange because I'm being recorded right now. Could have made this week better. Better posture for while I'm on the couch. So I spend a lot of time just like, I'm either like in a chair, in my bed. I love working in bed, highly underrated, or being on the couch. And my posture can take a hit if I'm feeling very lazy, especially after like a fucking like a lower body workout or whatever. My legs are just like, fuck it, let's just chill. So, but the problem with that is it can really affect the mental state. Like if you're in a really bad, like kind of like this and slouching and forward shoulders and all that jazz, it just manifests in a shitty mood. And yeah, if you're ever feeling really bad, check your physiology. Odds are it's probably rooting from that. Or if it's not, it might be something different, but the actual root cause, whether that's like some fucked up belief in your head or whatever, it's almost like pushing your physiology to be shitty. So therefore you follow through with that. I didn't explain that very well. That's okay. What else could make this week better? Eating eggs more. I used to eat eggs every single day. I've been slacking a little bit recently. I think I only ate like 4 days out of the 7. I got a little lazy. It's okay. Shit happens sometimes. But that's something that I should definitely correct next week. And I can do that by... I'll just do it. I don't need a fucking method. What else could have made this week better? I think spending more time on Infinity. I did a decent job, but I didn't do enough. Definitely didn't do enough. Because I was allocating a lot of time on content and that jazz. Like, yeah. So it definitely took up a lot of time that probably should have been spent on Infinity, but currently working a lot on content, so that is the case. I think showering 2 times a day would be something that would make this week better. Showering is just highly underrated. It just makes everything so much better mood-wise. Alright, that's enough for this. Anyways, by the way, this ends up being like a fucking 6-page thing, so I'm just kind of trying to go through this a little bit faster. Training, what did I take part in? Guy named Christian Michelson. Very, very good energetic stuff if you're into that stuff. That kind of thing. Gary Vaynerchuk. I watched a few Daily V episodes. But other than that, there was just a lot of podcasts because his podcast is just fucking phenomenal. Yeah, the meetings and talks are just fucking to die for. Tim O'Reilly on the Tim Ferriss show. That was very fascinating. He's like, this guy's he made like one of the first commercial websites like ever or something like that. It was really cool to listen to his old stories of, it was like very early on the web, and he had, I think, the first ad on the internet or some shit like that. It was just very fascinating stuff. I was reading primarily The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday this week. That's very good stuff on stoicism. This is my first ever like deep dive into, it's not going to be it's not a deep dive yet, but stoicism. I'm very fascinated to see where this goes because I'm really liking it so far. I'm only like on page 15, but really liking it nonetheless. I'm also really trying to go fast now because I'm aware of how much time this is going or taking up. Okay, workout P90X 5 days, or P90X 3 5 days a week, or 5 days this week. Ab Ripper X. Ab Ripper X is also part of X3, but it's counted as its own day, I guess. And then Yoga Flex, which is like a 13-minute thing for the other day. So 7 days of working out. And yes, yoga does fucking count as working out. So, in my world at least. I don't really know if other people do. Lessons. My legs are going to hurt after yoga. Be aware of this. I put down. Yeah, I kind of knew this, but I really got a taste of this week, and I'm going to get it tomorrow as well. That'll be interesting. Because I did yoga today. That was the point of that. I am a media company for, by the way, I don't know if I said this. We're now into the lessons section. So I'm just going to cover a few things I wrote down. I'm a media company first. I now think in terms of content, it's just like content is now becoming my way of life. And that's for the better or for the worse, but I think it's good. There's a lot of good that can come out of it. There is definitely some bad that can come out of it too, but I'm going to do my best to navigate it in a way where I can bring the most positive aspects of it and try to avoid the negative. And I can do that if I'm aware of it. Caffeine. I'm really just enjoying right now this, having a dose as soon as I wake up of cacao nibs, and then midday making sure I ideally do not do it before 6 hours of going to bed. But that redose, so like 2 doses, the one in the morning and then one midday, has been like super helpful for keeping me up and keeping me alert and getting shit done. Definitely helpful as well. Okay, what else can I... Oh, software. Where is this? Hold up. Not every problem needs to be solved with software. I went through this period, probably February-ish, where like I could code at a well enough level where I was like, let's build, like in my mind, I'm like, we should build apps for fucking everything. Just, by the way, purely just me. I was like, I should build apps for everything. And that's a horrible idea. It's, not everything needs software to, yes, they're like, I listen, for example, no, we're just going to move on from that. But, there are so many challenges in life. Not everything needs a fucking software thing. There can be physical things that, like, for example, I was feeling like a little bit overwhelmed with the podcast and like all of the steps that it takes. That doesn't need a fucking software thing, or this, like, it gets cluttered in my Google Doc. That doesn't need software necessarily. Like, we can just make physical or like hacks. When things get messy in my Google Drive, and I'm talking about like maybe in a document like this, I don't need to create a fucking app to make things better. I can change something maybe within. Maybe I change my thinking around something, and then that corrects the problem. I'm trying to think of a better example, but as much as software is eating the world, it doesn't necessarily need to be the solution to every problem. And that's just something that I've been really pondering recently. Like, not everything needs a site, not everything needs an app, not everything needs a line of code. It can be like physical things. It can be like hacks. Who fucking knows? But it just doesn't necessarily need to be software. When in doubt, make systems and checklists that are overly simple. So again, this is actually related to the last point. Instead of maybe doing software, maybe you just make like a system and a checklist or something like that, and that solves the problem. And that is what I did with my podcast. It's just having everything stepped out so simple that I don't even need to think about it is very helpful, because there's enough cognitive strain that I'm dealing with, especially when I'm dealing with things like Infinity, where I just have to apply as much mental energy as possible. I want to save my mental energy for things like that are important. Very, very like the yields from that are much higher than me focusing on fucking trying to step things out of my mind in my podcast. It's just not the best use of mental energy. So something like that is super helpful. What did I grow the most this week? React and Redux, which is a programming, what's it called? A framework? A front-end JavaScript framework. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it right now. And it's super helpful. I'm also getting really tired, so I'm gonna wrap this up right now. But where else did I grow most this week? Podcast, sharing with people was super strange, but I did it anyways. Do it anyway. Got to make that shit happen. After Effects, getting back into that, super helpful as well. And it's just cool to watch how something I used to be really fucking good at just like naturally came back. Micro content also helped me grow a lot this week. All right, so yeah, that's enough. I think this is about 30 minutes at this point. I'm mentally a little bit tired. My voice is also tired too, because I don't do that much talking. I just do a lot of listening. And yeah, so I might have to work on strengthening my voice or something like that. Because I literally feel like my voice just did a workout or some shit. So next week though, I should have a mic. And I hope this was interesting. Like, just a lot of rambling this time, honestly. But yeah. Again, I'm not necessarily doing this for the present moment so much as doing it for, like I talked about in the intro, whether it's like 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 50 years down the line, 100 plus, like it could keep going. And it's always interesting to like think about, what if my great grandchild Kevin is watching this right now? What's up, Kevin? So like that's so cool to think about. If my, like, I just have such a fascination with the start, the foundation, the beginnings. I love reading biographies for this reason. It gives such a great perspective on where we came from. I think as a generation, I've heard Gary Vee talk about this. We're basically the first generation at this very moment right now, or not even so much generation, but the first time period that everything going forward is on the record. So I feel like I'm creating almost it's like a TV channel, but this TV channel is going to be documenting my life so that the people in the future are able to see it. Like, he gives the example of wouldn't it be fascinating to watch Drake in his early days before he got big? And I like to think about Mark Zuckerberg and Kevin Systrom. Like, it'd be so fascinating to watch Kevin Systrom on the day he launched Instagram taking a vlog or like that. And I'm not interested in doing vlogs right now, but I am interested in documenting my truths, talking about my life, talking about what I'm learning, what went good, what didn't go so good. Yeah, I think this format right now has a lot to improve on, but as I'm analyzing this in real time. But yeah, I'm just glad that I did it. And yeah, so I appreciate you watching if you actually watch this far. This definitely has some work to do, but I just like the fact that I did it regardless of, like, there's definitely some fear here. This is super uncomfortable to do. This is something I've been doing, just sitting in my Google Drive, not sharing with the world, but yeah, now I'm sharing it with the world. So it's definitely good, and it's also very strange to think that potentially everyone has access to what the hell I'm thinking. It's cool, but it's also, yeah, it's a little bit weird. But I think it's valuable in the net score. Very fucking valuable. I don't know what else to say, so I'm gonna cut this off here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm praying this recording worked, because I actually can't see the other side. Like, I fear so much that it just didn't work. But yeah, I'm Josh Moxey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. It worked. Fuck yeah.